Around the world, a child gets online every half a second for their very first time. Children are using the online space more often than ever before. And with these spaces comes limitless possibilities, but also poses serious risks. So how do you ensure that your child is safe online? This is a conversation that Grace Githaiga will be tackling later on in Tech Talk as the show goes on. But before that, we have Tech News, Tech of the Week and Innovators Club for you. So we got you covered. You are rightly tuned in. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1. My name is Ayieta and this is Take on Tech. Today's question of the day, we are asking you, what are some of the measures that you have put in place to ensure that your child is safe online? Talk to us. We value your feedback. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1 or on our fan page at Take on Tech. In Tech News, we let you know why our local telcos are one of the winners in Kenya's just concluded general elections. And internationally, Iran restricts WhatsApp and Instagram amidst growing protest. This and much more in our Tech News Roundup. Kenya's just concluded general elections were backed by a ton of technology tools and services offered by different vendors and IEBC partners. This collaboration ensured that the KIMS kits worked optimally thanks to robust 3G and 4G connections provided by local telcos, and in cases where such networks were unavailable, the IEBC equipped its team with satellite modems for the same exercise. The operators provided dedicated and secure tunnels to transmit encrypted data from the KIMS kits to IEBC servers. The exercise by use of KIMS kits used 2G, 3G and 4G connections to move encrypted data from polling centers, constituency tallying centers and county tallying centers, as well as from diaspora tallying center to IEBC servers. The telcos revealed that they provided a record transmission from all the SIM cards provided to the IEBC. Over the last couple of years, it has become apparent that ICT is essential in transforming how polls are conducted in Kenya. This has also been accelerated by the work done by telcos in expanding their coverage and services, as well as the backing they continue receiving from the government and regulators, including the Communications Authority. The next polls are half a decade away, and with the coverage reported, it is possible that nearly all parts of the country will be served by at least 4G. Iran has curbed access to social media networks, Instagram and WhatsApp amid the protest over the death of a woman in police custody who the authorities said had a stroke and a heart attack while she was in guidance center and was then transferred to a nearby hospital where she died several days later. However, Amini's family has denied claims by the Tehran's police chief. Significant internet outages were reported across the country, with one of the biggest mobile phone operators disrupted, leaving millions of Iranians offline. The death of the 22-year-old Mahsa Amini, who was arrested by morality police in Tehran for unsuitable attire, has unleashed a wave of anger over issues including freedom in the Islamic Republic and an economy reeling from sanctions. NetBlog also reported a nation-scale loss of connectivity on Iran's main mobile telephone provider and another company's network. WhatsApp servers were disrupted on multiple internet providers hours after Instagram services were blocked, London-based NetBlog said. Two residents in Tehran and South Iran said they could only send text and not pictures on WhatsApp, and that Instagram appeared to be completely blocked. Without internet access, it is harder for people to post videos on social media to generate support for their cause or obtain reliable reports on what is happening. Social media websites such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook are routinely blocked in parts of the Islamic Republic, which has some of the strictest internet controls in the world. But tech-savvy residents often use virtual private networks to bypass the caps. NetBlocks says this outage is the most severe since internet was blocked during 2019's fuel protest. NetBlock continued to say that disruptions were the most severe since 2019, when the government shut down the internet for about a week to help stifle fuel protests. In Tech of the Week, we let you in on EcoBana, the Kenyan startup that won 120 million Kenyan shillings in the Halt Prize competition, following in the footsteps of Bupas, who won in 2016. The team were also congratulated by His Excellency President William Ruto. Here is their story. EcoBana, a Kenyan startup comprising a team of students from St. Paul's University, bagged 120 million Kenyan shillings in the 2022 Halt Prize competition to boost their business. In a tweet by Kenya's President Dr. William Samoei Ruto congratulating the team, he said, "This is the hustler spirit that we are keen to support." EcoBana is a social innovation enterprise and youth-led company who work together with women, refugee outreach, and young entrepreneurs to produce biodegradable, eco-friendly, and hygienic sanitary towels made from banana fibers with a concept of green and circular economy. The team, during their pitch at the event, said they intend to sell more than 3 million pads, generating over 6 billion Kenyan shillings, and employ more than 2,000 people by 2024. They aim to end period poverty across the world through eco-friendly sanitary pads and be best producers of biodegradable sanitary pads, empowering all women and girls. People who need menstrual products are struggling amid a shortage of these towels locally, and costs are soaring for components such as plastics, puff pulp, and cotton, leading to price hikes for pads and tampons. According to the team, most persons are unaware that commonly available disposable sanitary napkins constitute 90% plastic, and they are adding to plastic crisis. Adding that, the runoff of the organic matter leads to the pollution of water. Excessive growth of phytoplankton in water can also be among the causes of organic waste pollution. This is according to the team. With many youths gambling between purchasing these precious commodities and those who cannot afford easily resorting to staying away from the employment sector, EcoBana is aiming at getting the world back to work, a theme that saw them win this year's Halt Prize competition. And for their victory, they were lauded by former United States President Bill Clinton, who was in attendance. The social impact of this innovation is that girls from vulnerable communities will be able to go back to school and offer job opportunities to youths through the production of the product and improve the conservation of the environment through the use of biodegradable raw material and community education. The company has already introduced their product in the market and expanded to Egypt. They are hoping to have their product commercialized before the year ends. In Tech Talk, Grace Githaiga is joined by Evelyn Kasina, a family consultant and a digital learning leader, to shed more light on child online safety. Let's listen in.
In today's interview section, we have Evelyn Kasina, who is a family IT and digital leader and works on online safety for children and the ecosystem that's inclusive of parents, guardians, educators, institutions, and the government. Now, Evelyn is the founder of Eviminate Communications, a safety partner for such organizations as Meta, Google, and TikTok in Sub-Saharan Africa. Karibu sana, Evelyn.
Asante.
So she'll be talking to us about child online protection and what parents need to know when their kids are engaging online. So Evelyn, let's just go to the first question. Please, in your own context, tell us, when you engage with children, what do they look as, you know, what does social media mean to them?
For them, it is a space where they can extend their day. Yeah, so for instance, if they had a whole week where, I know parents normally don't have kids on their phones or on social media for a whole week, and then over the weekend, they're given the access to be online. So it is an extension of what they didn't have during the week. It is also a space where they can learn and they can showcase themselves. Yeah, and that is something maybe parents really don't know. And it's also a place to just chill, you know, where they just want to go meet new people. They want to play the latest game so that when they're in their own crowds in school or outside, they can participate in conversations over what is happening online. Yes.
Now, what are some of the popular platforms that young people like?
Yeah.
And where would you say they have a preference to some platforms as opposed to others?
All right. You and I are on Facebook, right? LinkedIn.
Correct, yes.
Our children are definitely not on those platforms. They're most likely to be on places like Snapchat, Twitter, not even Twitter. They're on Snapchat, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram. Gamers are on Discord. Yeah, those are now for, you know, gaming platforms where people just meet and play along. They are on those kind of platforms because, first, the content is very short and snappy. Just imagine yourself on TikTok. I don't know if you have a TikTok account.
No way.
But I'm sure you've interacted with a TikTok video.
Yes.
It is short and snappy. And that's what our children really love. They want to be there, get the message, move on. They want to be there, participate in a challenge and move on. And so for them, it is somewhere where it is not going to make them stay for long. Just come, hang out with people and go. And those are the kind of platforms which they find themselves on.
Okay.
Yes.
When you talk of TikTok and Snapchat and I don't know which
Instagram.
Instagram,
Yeah.
that where young adults or the young love to engage in. Are there age limits for them to join? Because I know when Facebook came, you know, they had that age limit. I don't know if they still do, the age limit of 13.
Yeah.
But we still found children under 13 joining.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. As it is, you and I once upon a time were children. And when rules were created for us, we tried our best to circumvent them. These platforms, at any given point, your child has to be the age of 13 and above to subscribe to them. But of course, we'll find children who are lying about their age so that they can be. You'll find platforms like, you know, the gaming platforms, Roblox. I know it's very common in Kenyan houses. You will find children who are about 8, 9 who are in those platforms. For them, it is just to connect and to play the kind of new games. But what they don't understand is elements of like the chat box where a predator can come and just try and lure the child. You know, we call it grooming, where somebody can be lured to go into a chat box and start chatting somebody who might not really be a child. But yes, the age limit is 13. And the security features that, I'll give an example of like TikTok that has put specifically for kids, is that when they get into TikTok and they're between the age of 13 and 16, they cannot chat. So the chat function is locked. They cannot go live, so that is also locked. And your child is not discoverable. So it means if I am 13 and somebody was to go and search for Evelyn Kasina, because I am a minor, my account is not available to be searched. And those are very, very important security features, which means as a parent who really wants their child to, you know, to be in the time to integrate in these platforms, those kind of things are very important for you to be like very genuine when you're signing up and putting your age limit, because those parameters have been put specifically for minors. Yes.
Tell me, because we still have some minors who will still sign up to such an account, and we know they are below age.
Yes.
And you being like the Sub-Sahara partner for such apps as, you know, TikTok, are there discussions around how to deal with this issue?
Yes. In fact, when we are looking for keywords, when we are searching to know if there are kids who are below a certain age, we look at the kind of language. You would tell when a child who is below 15 how they speak online, right? And the kind of things that they are lured into. So we have keywords that we make sure we see, we approximate the age of the child, and when we find for sure, especially if like parents are creating accounts for their children, but their children are active on those accounts, if they're minors, they're blacklisted, at least so that that child can obtain the legal age to be on those platforms.
Okay.
So at least what we really advocate for, especially to parents in terms of creating awareness, is that even if you've created an account for your child, it's important to monitor. I'm going to talk about specifically TikTok, where I know very many parents feel like my child really needs to engage. And if you have a child who is a minor, you know, even less than the age that is required, there's an app, security app, that is called family pairing, where if I'm your child, you create your own TikTok account and pair it with mine. So among the security features, you can also set for me screen time, because you also don't want, as a parent, your child to be online for a very long time. So you set for your child screen limits, what time they're allowed to be there, what kind of content cannot sift through their platform, so that at least, because sometimes the children really don't know what to say no to or what to accept, that family pairing really, really helps you to keep them safe until they're the age of 16. And so also what we say is, by the time you are allowing your child to be on social media, then it should give you an avenue to start discussing this kind of things that we have.
Okay. Now, I think I want to, it just sounds all complex. So maybe you can tell us what are some of the trends that you have observed? And even in those trends, have you observed, you know, are there any challenges?
For the parents who must be listening to this conversation, I don't know if for us who are a little older, we don't participate in online challenges. We used to call them pranks when we were growing up, you know. I want to prank my friend for one thing or another. For the kids nowadays, they're calling them online challenges. And so you will find there are good challenges that come out, and there are challenges that might pose either physical or emotional risks to children. But then, out of curiosity, because when we are engaging, they'll be like, I just wanted to see what will happen. And so there are a lot of challenges that come out each and every day that children participate in. Things that they want to go and tell their friends, but then you didn't participate in that, you didn't see that, and it's a hashtag. So you just go online and then you find it, and then it's like, okay, fine, I just put my camera somewhere, record myself, post it. It will give me hits, it will give me likes, it will make me trend. And those are the kind of things they want to do in their social media time. So the challenges is one of the things that I believe parents at this day and age need to start engaging their kids on. I normally put a disclaimer, because I know for parents, most of these challenges, they hear them on TV. Our children are not on TV anymore. They just have these small screens. And so there is normally a challenge where if you see an online challenge that children are participating in, it really has dire consequences, you might go and sound it to your child, and then it plants a seed. So conversation-wise, come and ask, Bebe Grace, you do online challenges, yes. What are some of the challenges that you participate in? So that at least you see where your child's head frame is. And then ask them, what makes you want to participate in these challenges? How does it make you feel when you participate in these challenges? And then you can derive a conversation from there, as opposed to going on, and then you'll be like, you know, I saw the blue whale challenge, people are killing themselves, and then the children are like, hey, okay, they start putting their walls up. So it's just a matter of a lot of conversations. I keep telling parents, musi panic. I know these things come fast and furious, and we can't keep up with them. But when we can sit and have conversations with them, at least they tell us what they're doing online.
Okay. So Take on Tech takes a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking more to parents. Please keep following us on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1 across all media platforms. You're watching Take on Tech. the interview section, in which we are looking at some of the challenges of social media apps and what parents need to know with Evelyn Kasina. So Evelyn, before we went on a break, you were telling us how parents need to engage their children to get to know what are some of these challenges that they are engaged in. Now, in your interaction, because you interact with both the young people and even their parents, in your interaction with parents, what really is their opinion about social media?
It's too much. The kids are spending so much pointless. I use the word pointless because that is something that really comes out. They're spending a lot of pointless time online, and we don't know how to keep up with what they're doing. So those are some of just the words that keep, flowing every time I'm interacting with parents, that they cannot keep up. Every day there's a new technology, there's a new app, there's a new trend. They really can't keep up. And so I feel sometimes that as parents, we have this defeatist kind of attitude. Like, we feel so defeated. We have so much already on our plates, then we have to catch up with what our kids are doing. So yes, there's a general kind of moment, yes.
Okay, and in your work then, are there concerns that parents need to pay attention to?
Yes, a lot of red flags. In class, I normally have conversations with children from the age of 5, all the way to 17, 18, where when we are interacting with them, we want to understand first their lingo, because I understand, like, right now, the way our kids are coming up, they have a different way of communication, which we might not understand. And then they have coded language where they show distress, like the way we would have SOS kind of codes. And so I think for parents, one of the things that we need to really, really pay attention to is things like withdrawal, things like new words in the house that you really don't understand what is happening. There are children currently who are self-harming to cope with pressures from online spaces where probably they're being bullied, they're being harassed, but then since they don't know what to do, they're harming themselves, then suddenly your child has a change of dress code. Your child who was probably very outgoing becomes very conservative, very reserved, they don't want to talk, or they want to talk to specific people. Those are red flags which I believe parents need to start monitoring a lot, because mental health is not something we really discuss as Africans. We don't know what the signs are. We probably do have mental health issues, but we don't know we have mental health issues. And our children really, at this point, they're really struggling with a lot. They have so many pressures that when we are not giving them an avenue or a space where they can talk to us freely and talk to us in a way that we are listening, not just sharing our opinions in a way that we are dismissing them, it will be a good space for us to have conversations. I'll give an example of a conversation on LGBTQ. These conversations are happening on the dinner tables. But when you find that parents are not even present on the dinner tables, that's a gap. Or we are present, but everybody has a screen behind them. So we are just eating and everybody has a screen. At what point do discussions happen? Because children are watching things online, they're watching things on TV, these shows, and they're conflicted. And that when that confliction happens, they don't know my source of authority. What is my source of authority saying?
Right.
Is my parent a source of information? And so I think parents need to start having, monitoring especially what the kids are watching, but also being there and available to talk about what they're watching and how they're feeling.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, because these platforms are very popular with the young people, are there privacy concerns that parents should be concerned about, or even the young people?
Yes, especially data. Privacy concerns for me would be oversharing information that shouldn't be online. Every time I'm having conversations with children, I share very basic, simple things that, when maybe you're at a mall or you're at a birthday party or somewhere where people are taking photos, if it's not somebody you know, or even if it's somebody you know, ask them, by the way, I'm seeing you with a phone and you're taking photos of us. Where are you posting these things? Do you have my consent, right? You're having a celebration and you really want to show people what you've been doing. If you can post those things after you've left that space for security reasons, that would be an ideal thing. I keep telling parents, we are excited when our kids are going to school, then we take photos of our kids going to school, they're in full uniform with logos. That means that you're exposing content that should not be online. And of course, even when they are registering on the platforms, things like putting their email accounts, the email address online, their phone numbers, where they live, those are privacy concerns, but I think we don't know that they are concerns. So I think what we need to start doing is creating awareness and telling them, personal information can be online, private information cannot be online, and this is the category of what private information is. And then, of course, also having the courtesy to ask people, I took a photo of you, by the way, may I post it on my social media? You know, if I say yes, yes. If I say no, you respect that. Yeah, but also, one of the things I challenge parents a lot on is, at any given point, even in schools, especially in schools, when you do realize that your child in school is going to participate in a club that has computers, does the school have policy to make sure that when they're in this premise, my child is going to be protected because the school has policies on ABCD? What are the security policies? We just take our children to school, wanaenda. We take them at home, it is free-flowing. We need to start having very deliberate conversations around content. You took my content. How long are you going to keep it? What are you using it for? How are you going to destroy it? And I know the Data Protection Bill Act that is there, we have not read it, yeah? To know that if I'm in violation of something, these are the consequences. Until it happens, then you're like, oh, I didn't know, but then it has already happened. So I do believe that as parents, and even because we are the ones who are responsible for minors, when your child is getting onto any social media platform, be with them to register. That's one. Read the community standards, because that is where you are guided on what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to behave. As parents as well, we need to be aware that as a country, we are so progressive to the point that if your child feels violated, there's a child helpline that you can just call and somebody will pick the call and help the child.
What's that child helpline?
116. And I keep saying, just take a paper and put 116, it's a toll-free number, and put it on your fridge, so that even if you're not at home and your child feels like they're being bullied, they're being harassed, they can call that number and somebody on the other end of the line will assist them. And so we need to be able to allow the systems that have been put in place by the government to work for us. And also be intentional on telling our children, when you feel a red flag feeling, I keep telling them, a red flag feeling is when you feel anxious, you're feeling upset, you're feeling nervous, or somebody's making you have that feeling. You block and report, call 116 if your parents are not around, because you're empowering that child to know that I'm being given this opportunity to be online, but then when something happens and my parents are not around, this is what I can do.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. I must say, very useful information, Evelyn. So that brings us to the end of the interview section of Take on Tech. We were talking to Evelyn Kasina, who is actually a digital leader and works with children, the young adults, and parents, you know, the ecosystem, that's the guardians, the institutions, and the government. So thank you so much for gracing Take on Tech. Yeah. And that's it from us, from our interview section. My name is Grace Githaiga. Keep watching.
Innovators Club today, we want to challenge you to try something new. We have a do-it-yourself hack which you can do at home with minimal resources. Check it out. That surely brings an end to today's show, but as usual, the conversation continues. We are asking you, what measures have you put in place to ensure your child's online safety? Talk to us at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech. Our fan page is also at Take on Tech. My personal handle where you can interact with me is at Stephanie_Ayieta. That is on Instagram. We meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, let's keep it tech. Adios.